What is up, everyone? It is a brand new series. Here we go. We're still talking about Jesus, but now we're talking about what it means for him to be a Messiah. We'll be talking about that word in a second, but of course, we got worship time before that. So everyone, up on your feet, let's go.
Nothing can separate, even if I ran away. Your love never fails. I know I still make mistakes, but you have new mercy for me every day. Your love never fails. Sing it, you stay. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. Your love never fails. The wind is strong and the water's deep, but I'm not alone here in these open seas, 'cause your love never fails. The chasm was far too wide. I never thought I'd reach the other side, but your love never fails. Let's lift it up, 'cause you stay. 'Cause you stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. Lift up a shout, oh, your love never fails. No, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Your love, your love. You make all things work together for my good. And you make all things work together for my good. Let me hear you sing it. You make all things work together for my good. Sing it out. You make all things work together for my good. Lift it up, 'cause you make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. 'Cause you stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. Lift up a shout of praise.
traditions time, and we have a brand new verse for you this week. So get ready. Let's say it all together. Here we go. These miracles are written so that you will put your faith in Jesus as the Messiah and the Son of God. If you have faith in him, you will have true life. John 20:31. Okay, guys, I want you to keep practicing that verse. Tuck it away in your heart, and let's get ready to hear about the story. Here we go.
What's up, everyone? I'm just waiting for Lori to show up so we can begin the story time. You surprised me!
Do you like surprises?
I mean, usually, but that one was a little scary.
Do you like to plan to surprise other people?
Well, of course. Who doesn't, right?
Okay, well, I have a great story about me surprising somebody.
Okay,
Can I tell you about? Okay.
Yeah.
So, this was several years ago, but I planned to surprise my niece and take her to Disneyland. So I talked to her mom and we made arrangements, and she was going to be in school. This was back when you were in school, and I had a note so that I would be able to pick her up, and she didn't have any idea what was going on. She was like, "What's happening? Why are you here, Auntie?" And I picked her up and I loaded her in the car, and she was just like, "Where are we going?" And I wouldn't tell her where we were going. We were just driving along, and she was getting more and more excited and trying to figure it out. And it was so amazing when we kind of turned and pulled in, and she saw that we were at Disneyland. And we got to spend the whole day at Disneyland together.
Well, okay, that's a fun surprise.
Yes, it was a good surprise.
I think there's quite a few surprises out there where you scared me. That's less fun. If you took me to Disneyland, that would be a lot more fun.
That would be a really cool surprise.
Well, we're actually talking about surprises today in our lesson. For example, we're going to be talking about Jesus, the Messiah, and that was actually a surprise to everyone. See, you knew what was happening the whole time.
That's right.
You had a plan in your mind. We are going to Disneyland, and I'm taking my niece with me, and we're going to have the best time.
Yep.
What do you think her niece was thinking? She was probably wondering, I have no idea where we're going. Are we going grocery shopping?
Yeah.
Until the very end.
What would be so important that you could pull me out of school for?
It must be really important.
Yeah.
Are we going to the doctor? Dentist. But you knew what was going on.
I
right?
did.
And that's the same way with God and Jesus. God had a plan the whole time, right? Jesus knew what was going to happen in the end. But as for the rest of us, and then all the Pharisees back then, all the people that were listening to him, they weren't expecting that.
No.
No, in fact, they were waiting for a Messiah that was going to come like a king on a big white horse, and take over the whole country. Instead, they got a very big surprise. They got Jesus, and he wasn't a king. In fact, he ended up getting crucified. Mm-hmm. Now that's a surprise.
Right. A surprise that you think is going to end really badly, but then it doesn't.
Because he comes back to life?
Well, kind of. He actually defeats death.
Yep.
And by him paying the price of all of our sins, and defeating death, our sins are paid for, and we get to live with him forever and ever.
Now, that's a surprise. That's probably the best surprise. No, I'm going to say it is the best surprise you will ever get in your life.
Yeah. So now, I think, Caden, you're going to be telling us a story, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a bit of an object lesson.
Okay.
I hope it works. It's a little tricky, but we're going to try to talk more about what it means for Jesus to be the anointed one.
Well, I can't wait. You better find yourself a good seat in the house. And here we go for story time.
Jesus and the disciples were making their way through the countryside. And as they passed through Samaria, the sun was high and it's time to rest. Jesus sat down by the well, and the disciples went into the village to buy some lunch. Soon, a Samaritan woman came by to collect some water. "Would you give me a drink?" Jesus asked her. "Well, me? How can you be asking me, a Samaritan woman, for water?" You see, Jesus was Jewish, and in those days, there was no way a Jewish man would ever have spoken to a Samaritan woman. Jesus didn't get hung up on rules like that, though. He just loved and cared for people, no matter where they were from or who they were. So I'm going to be doing a little object lesson while I tell this story for y'all. Jesus answered the woman, "If you knew who I was, you would be asking me for a drink, and I would give you fresh, living water." Jesus wasn't talking about water from a well, but the woman didn't understand. "Sir," she said, "this well is deep, and you don't have a bucket. Where can you get this living water?" Well, Jesus explained about the kind of water he was talking about. Everyone who drinks this water will become thirsty again and again, day after day. He was talking about the water from the well. The kind of water I give us is full of life, and anyone who drinks of it will never be thirsty again. Notice how this starts to empty the entire cup. Now I can do it again. Jesus told the woman to go and bring her husband to the well, but he knew she didn't actually have a husband. The woman was surprised. Jesus saw right into her life, deep into her heart, without her having to tell him a thing. "You must be a prophet," she said. Jesus told the woman that one day all people would worship God together, no matter where they were from or what they were called. "I don't know about that," the woman said. "When Christ the Messiah comes, he will make everything clear." She didn't know that she was talking to the Messiah right there in front of her eyes. "You don't have to wait anymore or keep looking for the Messiah," Jesus told her. "I am he." Jesus showed her that his living water would go on and on, never running out. So, the disciples arrived back with their lunch, and their jaws almost hit the ground to see Jesus talking with the Samaritan woman. Her life had been changed. She had met the one who would bring salvation for all. She told everyone in Samaria about Jesus, and many of them now believed in him too. Jesus, the Messiah, was God's plan all along.
Man, that was an amazing story about the Samaritan woman. I mean, what a great lesson. Just learning about how God is here for all of us, right? Because Jesus was Jewish.
Yes.
And she was a Samaritan woman.
Normally those don't mix back then. They weren't supposed to. The Jews were supposed to be only hang out inside of their country.
That's right.
Right? But Jesus defied that boundary.
Yes, he did. And so that brings us to sum it up for the week, right?
Yeah. Do we have a couple points?
We do have a couple of points. And the first one really is Jesus wasn't a plan B. It wasn't like God created the earth and put all of the people on the earth, and then we sinned and he was like, "Oh dear."
Yep. When there was Adam and Eve, remember there was Adam and Eve, and it was going to be totally awesome. They had the Garden of Eden, right? And then all of a sudden they sinned, and God had to go, "Oh no, well I got to change this up. I got to do something different," right?
That's not what he did.
No, according to the Bible, he had a plan all along. He knew what was going to happen.
And you can actually see that throughout the Old Testament, long before Jesus was ever born or on this earth, the talk of the Messiah, Jesus, coming.
Those are called prophecies.
That's right. And so it is amazing to think that this surprise that God had for all of us, he had that planned long, long ago.
So once again, he is not a plan B. He is the plan.
That's right.
To save us.
Yeah.
Now, our second point, talking again about the Samaritan woman and Jesus, right? Where normally the Jews weren't supposed to reach out. In fact, it was crazy that Jesus even walked through Samaria. Samaria was this little country that kind of split Israel in half, and Jesus just would walk through there anyway. The disciples were shocked that he would be talking to this woman. But the lesson there is that Jesus is here to save all of us, right? Not just one nation, not just one type of people, but all of us.
And there is a verse. I know you probably know it because we've referenced it many times, John 3:16. For God so loved the world. Everybody, not the Jewish people, Not the Samaritan people, but
not just Americans.
not just Americans, but the world, everybody. And so we need to remember that Jesus is here to save us all. Yeah. And then there's one more point of the day. Not only is Jesus here to save us all, he is the only way to be saved.
What if I just am really good?
Nope.
What if I do all my chores?
Nope.
Is there any other way I can get to heaven?
Yes. Believe in Jesus, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And by his good grace, you will be saved.
It's kind of crazy to believe that there's only one path to heaven.
Yep. But he says it really clear in John 14:6, right? No other way. So remember that for this week. We will be back next week talking more about Jesus as the Messiah.
I'm stoked for that.
Can't wait to see ya.
Bye, everyone.